retirees. One lady in Portland living on $300 a month. And we want to take $96 a month or $106 a month of that away from her. I want you to go knock on that door and I want you to talk to her. There's got to be a way. I don't have the background like Dennis. I don't know how to make the numbers work. But I think there's some serious people issues that we need to look at, like John Pinches is talking about. You know, we have to remember that. I mean, I put in 32 years. I was a welfare fraud investigator, and in that, you know, collected millions of dollars. And you get to the other end, and the thank you is what's kind of going on now. It makes it really, really hard. Question, why is there no retiree representation on the board ad hoc committee? Is that just an oversight, or why isn't there somebody there on that board to represent the retirees? By switching to Plan 2 of the active committee, it would negate the 16.8% cost projected for 2009. However, it's only a current year fix. We'd be back in the same debate next year, similar to the whole situation that the state goes through every year. Now we're at 78 days, and we don't know. Why can't there be some long-term decisions made? And in closing, just why not have this on an annual basis, or every 2 years take a look at this and say, you know what, it's not going in the direction we want it to go. Let's make some early modifications to this so that we don't get here and suddenly have to say, oh my God, we got to make some decisions that we don't want to make. And in closing, I'm glad I'm not sitting in your chairs. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. Budge Campbell, followed by Tim Knudsen.
Good morning. I am Budge Campbell, and thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. I had actually 6 points I was going to make. Some have already been covered, but a couple in particular I'd like to talk about for a few moments that I haven't heard anybody discuss. I've heard a lot of discussion about post-65 Medicare and those things, but I've never once heard the issue come to that. If, for example, the premium goes to $600 a month, once you're 65, once you become Part B eligible, the county's cost goes to 20% maximum. Medicare covers all other costs. And so if you took $600, I would take $120 of those funds that would be eligible for my use. The other $480 is being used to subsidize other health care costs. Last Monday when we met here with people, I think that when I asked where does the other $480 go, the explanation I had from Tim was that it covered the subsidizing costs of active employees. Two terms you need to remember is active are those that are going to be eligible but not yet retired. Retirees are those that are retired. You should ask the question, how many people are under 65 that would be involved? I've not been able to find that. I looked through the actuarial, I didn't see anything, but somewhere that would be an important number to know so you can know what costs you might be developing. So the first issue then is, I think that the retirees, particularly the post-65, are already contributing a sizable amount, and I think that any amount over 20% should be designated as being for extended health care, not other of retirees, not for other costs, but only for retirees' health care. That brings me to the next issue is, I've not heard anybody talk about how we designate and how we protect these monies that would be paid. They call them, I think the actuarial call them annual required contributions. At least whatever you decide in terms of what annual contributions may be required, identify them as being restricted monies that can only be used for the purpose of retirees' health care benefits. Those should be in a separate fund and kept so that there's no question about where they're eligible for. The other thing I'd ask is, in terms of, no, I won't, because other people will talk about it, and my important issues to me would be that you recognize that the retirees, particularly those over 65, are already producing more money than they take out of the system. And the second one is identify the money. The same as, you know, I worked with the road department for an awful lot of years, and we had restricted road monies. Everybody always wanted to get those restricted road monies, and they usually try to find some way to do it. Don't let that happen to the health care benefits. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Supervisor Smith?
Mr. Campbell, you raise a number of interesting points, but one that you brought up that I want to make sure that is clarified for the record is there's no commingling of retiree health benefit funds and active employee funds. There's absolutely no subsidy coming from retiree health that goes to the active employees. Those are completely divided. They're different plans. That's not occurring. But I think that the point you raise is a good one in that ultimately, as adding on to the issues that Ms. Mahoney mentioned that we need to talk about in terms of things we actually can do to cultivate cost containment